here's the bottom line too. It's never going to be perfect. We are not perfect. The scenario is never going to be perfect. And I also want to tell people, your listeners included, you still have to enjoy your life. Like, this is not meant to be, oh my gosh, this is going to be just, we're going to just live on what, carrots and celery, and I can't put anything on my body. This is not like depressing. It's just, again, enlightening is what it should be. Empowering, like you used earlier. We have to enjoy our lives.
Welcome to the Everyday Epigenetics Raw, Real, Relatable podcast. I'm your host, Susan Robbins, epigenetic human performance coach. This is where we discuss all things lifestyle, environment, food, exercise, work, mind, and social interaction as they pertain to epigenetic expression in a way that's relatable to everyone. So if you're ready to start viewing you as an individual, take control of your life and health, and get results, buckle up, here we go. Welcome to the Everyday Epigenetics Raw, Real, Relatable podcast. I am your host, Susan Robbins, and this is the place where we talk about everything, lifestyle and environment, and how it relates to our genetic expression. Today, buckle up. I have not had anybody on talking about toxins since I started the podcast over a year and a half ago. And this woman just fell into my lap, and we have a great vibe. So I think you're going to love the energy today. It's coming off the charts. As I talk about lifestyle and environment with genetic expression, we have control, right? We have control over the choices that we make on a day-to-day basis. But then there's some things within the environment, again, around toxins, some things we can control, some things we can't. And I think there's people that panic on a daily basis thinking, oh my gosh, there's all these things happening. And we really don't need to panic. We just need to know what are the ones we really can take a good control of, and what are the ones where it might be more difficult to get control of, but that's not the be all end all. And these toxins can affect how our DNA expresses. It can dial up high inflammation SNP genes, dial back detoxification genes, and how are you set up for all of this? So we're going to bring all this into play today. And I think you're going to love this conversation. My guest today is Shelly Jefferis. All right, I didn't even ask you. Did I pronounce that right? And not Jefferis?
Jeffries, fine, but it's perfect.
Okay, so Shelly has been in the health and wellness profession for over 40 years. And I was looking at her going, no, there's no way you've been over 40 years. She's an educator, speaker, and mentor. Through teaching and her compassionate nature, she's dedicated to the goal of impacting the lives of others to feel and live their best lives. So you can see why we mesh. Shelly's a retired college professor. And in addition to being partnered with a global wellness company, she is passionate about educating on toxins and ways to reduce our exposure in order to live healthier lifestyles. She is also the podcast host of Words of Wellness, and I'm going to be coming on that, so I'm super excited. And she's the founder of Moms Who Flourish. It's a community created to empower moms to put their health and their self-care as a priority through one-on-one and group mentorship and live wellness in-person events. So welcome to the show, Shelly.
Thank you, Susan. I am so thrilled to be here. I know this is going to be a very, very high energy conversation with lots of great information, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Me too. So let's jump in. First of all, what's your story? How did you get into the toxin biz?
Good question. Originally, I will say that when I first got pregnant, I had always been into health and fitness. It's been my profession yes, it's been 4 decades. I know it's crazy, but we'll just overlook that because and we start thinking about our age and going to the math. But when I was pregnant with our first baby, our daughter, I started to really look at ingredient labels a little bit more diligently than I had in the past. I had always looked at them, but now I was like really, really reading them. And I was shocked, to say the least. Our daughter is now 27 years old, but at that time, and even to this day, artificial ingredients, artificial dyes, artificial sweeteners, so many different things, preservatives, all of the things. And so I started being very very diligent about that. And that's how it started. And then as time went on, different things happened in my life. My mom was diagnosed with cancer, and before that, I was making adjustments in the products that we were using, but I really got more in tune with, okay, what am I using for cleaning products? What am I using for skincare? And really starting to be more in tune with those items. And but it was really interesting because at the time, I had a business that was a fitness business for moms and babies, and one of my moms was part of a wellness company, and I use quotes, "wellness company." I'll explain in a minute. I know I ordered a few products, one of which was a kids shake. So my youngest, my Braden at the time was 5. Okay, now he's 19. He was 5. And I made the mistake of assuming because it was a wellness company that this would be a clean product. It was not. I came downstairs one day, he's making up his shake. I look at the bag, artificial ingredients, artificial sweetener, and I was like, "Bud, I'm sorry, but this is going in the trash."
I'm taking your shake.
I'm taking your shake, it's going in the trash. And so that's where it went. And about 1 or 2 years later, I discovered another nutritional company that I still use to this day, but I was looking for no chemicals, no pesticides, nothing artificial, and I found it. And then during the journey of mom being sick and she ended up losing her battle with cancer, but it really just struck a fire underneath me to know more, to do more, to research more. And so I did. And then about 10 years later, my dad lost his battle with the various illnesses and chronic diseases. And so same thing, lit another fire underneath me to continue to do more and to share. And my point is exactly like you said at the beginning. What is it that we can do that's in our control? Let's start there because there is so much that we are exposed to that we do not have any control over whatsoever. So many
Yep.
things we're exposed to that we have no idea about.
Mm-mm.
And it's just that point of, okay, what can I do better? What is in my control? Okay, I can control what I'm putting in my mouth. I can control what I'm putting on my body. I can control candles that I'm lighting in my house. I can get rid of the plugins,
Oh, I was hoping you
right?
would go there, sister. I was hoping.
I wisened up to that, okay? Air fresheners, get rid of those. I actually do have a great one that's non-toxic I can share with you later. It's it's that ongoing journey, and I will always, always tell people, just like you said, it's not meant to overwhelm or create an obsession. But what it is meant to do, and my goal is always to educate, but also to increase the awareness so
Yes.
that we can be making better choices for ourselves and our families. Because let's face it, it's like stress. It's not going anywhere. These toxins aren't going anywhere.
Yep.
And it, when I read the quote, and I have the book down here, from this Dr. Sherry. She has a thick book, 30 plus years of research in this area. And the quote is the fact that 95% of disease can be traced back to deficiency in nutrition and toxins in our environment. And I get chills when I say that because I 100% believe it. And I look at my parents and I think, what could maybe I have done differently to help them? But at this point in my life, it's what can I do now for me to be healthy for my children so they don't have to see me go through what I saw my parents go through. And obviously, God has the final say. There's no guarantee in that, but I always look at it that way. What can we do to be our best selves and our best health for our family? And then because of this being my profession like yourself, then we want to share that message with the world and impact the lives of others as much as we possibly can.
It is.
And so
It is being our own best health advocate for yourself and for your
100%.
family. You
Yep.
can't rely on doctors or anybody else. You have to understand you and
Mhm.
the things you control and the things you can't. So it's
True.
sorry, I didn't mean to
100%.
interrupt. I thought you took a pause.
No,
I
gosh,
apologize.
chime in, I love it. It's just so true. And I was just talking to someone yesterday, and I repeat this a lot of times. It's not a bash on any medical doctors, nurses, or the industry, we know what's going on. We know what's
Mhm.
going on there, and they definitely serve a purpose. We need them. However, it's gone so much the other extreme that we have to be advocates for ourselves
Yes.
and follow whatever our intuition is telling us when it comes to what we're experiencing, how we're feeling,
Yeah.
and be the advocate. We have to be proactive. I always said that to my students. Nobody is going to take care of your health for you,
Nope.
and we know that now more than ever with what's come out the last recent years. And honestly, I'm sure, like you, it's been the same way for me. It hasn't been a surprise to
No,
learn,
not at all.
and that we could talk a lot, I'm sure, about a lot of different areas as far as that goes, but I'm not a cynical person in any way, shape, or form. However, when it comes to some of these areas, I'm a little bit that way. When I think about my mom and battling cancer, and I'm thinking, okay, how many years have we raised money to put funds into research? What's going on here? Why has nothing changed? And that's a whole other
Oh,
podcast.
we could do several podcasts on that for
Mhm,
sure. We
mhm.
could do one solely on stress, like you brought up. Everybody's saying, I'm going to get rid of stress. And stress is anything that creates a reaction in the body. So, us talking, look how we're moving, we're interacting. That's stress. It's good stress. But you're never going to eliminate stress, and if you think you can, you're gonna have a rude awakening, but it's how do we manage it so that it doesn't get over that stress threshold where we start to see symptoms. And I think the other point I really like that you're talking about is the awareness and being proactive. And I think number 1, so many people are not aware because they live in this state of feeling like shit on a regular basis.
Mhm.
They live brain foggy, their clarity isn't there, their energy is not there, the sleep is terrible, and they just chalk it up to, "I'm just busy. I've just been really busy." Frequent illness, it's we're recording this a couple weeks before Christmas. Tomorrow, I think tomorrow or today or tomorrow is 2 weeks from Christmas, and this is, quote, "cold and flu season." It does a certain month bring out an illness? No, it's junk food, it's sugar, alcohol, lack of sleep, increased stress season, and that's what it is. And people just they don't have this awareness until they get a lab result back or their body literally shuts them down with something, and then they have to act. And then you're starting from behind the 8 ball, where if you are proactive, what are these toxins? What are these processed things I'm eating that are affecting my body and my brain? People don't realize the brain is so affected. Why do you think there's so much anxiety and ADHD out there? It's your food. And so, anyway, I just wanted to put all that together that you had talked about and that we're totally on the same page there, but that's what's happening. And so when you can understand and like you, same with DNA, right? You can have all this information. It's not meant to panic you like it panics people. All of this and what you're going to start talking about with the toxins, it's not too much information. It's information is empowering. So even
Mhm.
if you pull 1 or 2 things from what you're going to talk about today and understand how to best implement these strategies, you're already getting ahead of that 8 ball. Am I right there?
100%. Yes.
So,
100%.
I'm gonna turn it back to you and yeah, let's talk about some of these toxins and how we can work with this and not get overwhelmed.
And that was something that I share this so frequently, and I really attempt to share it in a simplified manner because you're going to appreciate this. I discovered a group on Facebook that's about this very topic, and they go extreme. They go into finding like non toxic toilet paper. And I'm like, okay, I I have to draw the line at some point, like, as much as passionate as I am about this, as I know you are, that would make me a little bit crazy. I just can't go there just yet. Maybe, maybe someday, but right now, I can't do it. I just can't. Yeah, so I think
Don't
the
touch my
point
Charmin.
Oh
Come
my
at me.
gosh. I just for your listeners, I can't help you with a non-toxic toilet paper, and if you wanna find one, more power to you. I just personally, I can't spend energy on that. However, when it comes to what we're eating, what we're putting on our skin, what we're cleaning our homes with, what we're using for cologne, what we're using for candles, all of these items, this is just an ongoing journey where I have, and I'm sure you have too, Susan, tried products and you're continually trying things. Like I'll
Mhm.
find something that's non-toxic. Oh, let's try it. I discovered a candle recently and let's try it. I'm like, not a big fan. The candle cost like $40 and it burned down to like within the first two burnings. I said, okay,
Oh,
that's
wow.
out next. It's just you're trying, it's trial and error, a lot of it. But what I like to do is I do like to share with my clients, my listeners, students, what I've discovered. And maybe it will be helpful and lessen their time in trying certain items and products. And so that's just an ongoing thing that I do. But I do find that certain things like glancing at a food, an ingredient label and looking at for what's is there anything artificial? Can you find preservatives? Do you see is there sucralose? Like boom, boom, boom. What are you looking for that you know you want to avoid? That's where I start. And it makes it quite easy if you're picking up something and you're thinking of trying it, and if you see any of those items on there, then you just know, "Nope, that's not for me."
Mhm.
Same thing with skincare, and I was just sharing this I share this in my I have a master class about this topic, but I talk about this also, and you know this. For women, on average, we're being exposed to 200 chemicals daily just through our personal skincare routine, right?
Yep.
Because we're cleaning our face, we're putting on cream, we're putting on makeup and whatever else we're doing, cologne, deodorant, all of those things that we do. And with these stats, as we know that Europe bans like 1,300 ingredients and United States bans like 11.
It is preposterous, isn't it?
It's insane.
What we allow here.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And I often go like, why? Just so I guess it all comes back to money. It all comes back to
It
money.
the almighty dollar, people.
It's yep,
That's what drives it.
yep.
You're
And that's why you just have to be so going back to us talking about being proactive, you have to be for yourself and your family, bottom
yep.
line.
Even when it comes like you guinea pig on all these toxic things, right? All these products. I do also with supplements and I
Yes.
recommend supplements to people. So I am like I call myself the label detective. And
Yes.
I'll tell people if you're at the grocery store, or you're at a store, shoot me a label and I can tell you in 2 seconds, but yet I want to educate you so you can start looking. And isn't it like fantastic when you have a client that says to you, I saw this on this label, and you're like, it's working, right?
It's
Because
yeah,
they're getting that awareness. They don't realize how much they're taking in. And they'll go to GNC or Amazon or whatever, grab a supplement, and I look at the fillers in there. And the gummies are the worst.
worst.
The gummies that they taste good. Of course they do, because there's 4 different types of sugar and the food coloring and the preservatives, but yet it's marketed as healthy because it's a gummy vitamin or a mineral or whatever the hell it is. The food industry and supplement industry are so deceitful.
Yes.
And people think we go to the store and you look at the meat was natural. It says all natural. Well, I guess it is until you add all the other crap to it.
So true.
This is why we're here to educate people that what you see on the outside isn't always what is contained on the inside. And you have to do that extra little step, but what a difference it'll make when you take that extra step. But I guinea pig just like you do. And I don't recommend anything to my people that I haven't tried. Same as
Right, 100%.
that's what we do. So, what are some of the toxins that we can look out that are easiest to look for?
I think the ones I just mentioned, I am not one that's when you look at the list, as I look at the list sometimes and I'm like, I don't even know. I can't even pronounce half of these things, right? And so I again, I go just for the artificial ingredients, the sweeteners, the sucralose, the aspartame when it comes to food. And then when it comes to skincare, it's the ethanols and the preservatives. And anytime I see something that has like letters and then some numbers behind it, I'm like, I don't think so. It's not I just feel like it's definitely something that we can never learn too much about, and we're never gonna be completely 100% versed in all of it, because look at what goes on. What did they just do? Was it the FDA? Something just came out recently for where they're allowing some of the PFAS, the plastics
Yep, the PFAS, yeah.
to go on to some of the fruits and veggies, like, they're lessening the requirements or the standards around it. I can't remember, I'm
They're
butchering.
loosening them instead of tightening them?
Yes, yes, yes. I have it
Oh.
in my phone. I screenshot all this stuff and then I share it. You think you have made a couple steps ahead, and then you see something like this and you're like, "Why are we going back?" And that's very frustrating and a little discouraging, but yet again, at the same time, it just motivates you to do more and to keep at it and keep educating because that's what
Mhm,
it's gonna take. It's gonna take us putting our feet down and saying, "No, I'm not gonna buy this, or I'm not gonna accept this, or I'm not gonna purchase this, or whatever it is, I'm gonna boycott this product." We can only do so much, but that's what we need to do is to really take a stand.
so most of what you're talking about looking for preservatives and artificial ingredients, most of that you're gonna see in processed foods. It's not gonna be in the vegetables and the fruits and the meat and fish section.
Mhm.
It's gonna be in anything that's in a box or in plastic or a container. Now, some things, like I buy my coconut milk, my almond butter, almond flour, but all of those things have 1 or 2 things on that label. When you see that big list, that's where your problem is, because a food doesn't need to have this many ingredients in it. And
Right.
look at an ingredient on a granola bar. Holy crap.
Ridiculous.
But you make your own, and it's like a handful. So I think it can be as simple as limiting the number of ingredients you're looking at as well.
Yes.
Not just that, and keeping to the fresher the better. Now, of course, you get in the frozen section. There again, you frozen vegetables, great. They're just as good. They're your next best thing to fresh. Buy some frozen. I'll buy extra bags of frozen and keep them in my freezer for when my fresh runs out, or
Mhm.
if I'm behind on food prep or something. But you have to look because some of these have sauces
Yep.
and additives. So even though you're buying a frozen vegetable, you still have to look at that label. It should only be that vegetable, and that's it.
And I think too, another point is to look for the organic as much as possible. And I'm not going to say I understand and I appreciate people are living on a budget when it comes to their
Mhm.
food bill. I understand that. And I used to always tell my students that I have gotten to a point now with my shopping where you can find some deals on organic items that are cheaper than conventional. So you just have to kind of do a little bit of investigative work and kind of figure out where you're purchasing certain items from which store. But going back to the fruits and veggies, one thing that I learned years ago, and I've followed this to a T, and I've actually trained my family and my husband when he shops, is when you're in the produce aisle to go follow that clean 15,
I
dirty
was gonna bring
dozen
that up.
list.
Yep.
And I discovered that years ago, and I started following it right away. And so for your listeners, some might be familiar with this, but it's a great list to follow because it gives you the idea of which vegetables and fruits have higher levels of pesticide residue that you really want to purchase those organically. Some others, maybe not so much. If you have a banana or melon that has that thick outer rind, it's maybe not as critical,
Yeah.
but whenever you can purchase organic, go for it. I
Mhm.
understand, like, strawberries, I'm like, "Only
It's a
get
big one.
organic," but if they're, like, $8 for a carton, sorry, no strawberries this week.
That's what I do too.
You just that's how you have to go about it, right? And
Uh-huh.
so that's what I always recommend, and again, organic it's not necessarily perfect, but it's better. It's better. We
Mhm.
still want to wash our fruits and our veggies, still wanna do that, but that's my
Question.
it's been great.
Question on the washing. Because I started washing my berries with in baking soda and vinegar.
I just read that. I'm gonna start doing that.
And I will tell you this, I found this so interesting because only buy my berries organic, right?
Yes, me too.
And that list, the Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen, that's put out by the Environmental Working Group, EWG. So you
Yes,
can go to ewg.org and it changes every year.
yes.
So they just came out with a new one and I can't remember because I glanced at it, but the headline was like, "Oh, here's a new one on the Dirty Dozen." So
Mm,
you have to stay up with it annually because they test all the fruits and veggies and they put the top 10, the clean 15, that's like she said, the top ones, and then your dirty dozen are the most contaminated. But things go on and off that list. But if you go to that site, they have the entire list. So you can see maybe what just missed the dirty dozen. Maybe you're purchasing that, and that would be a good idea to go organic with some
mm.
of those that are close to the bottom of that list too. So, that's a great resource as well, and also to
That's a
educate.
great suggestion. That is such a great suggestion to kinda, like, look at the entire list, because
Mhm.
that way, if you do have an option or a choice, then you can make the better choice.
And that's what we're here to do. Anything around, I say, what I do or what you do, it's to help you. It's not diagnosed, treating, or curing any illness or disease. It's to help you make the best choices moving forward because you have information. And
Mm,
that's where we make better choices. But yeah, go to that. So I only buy the organic berries, but you still will get parasites and they'll mold quicker, right? Because they don't have any of this stuff on them. And
right.
I found that I do a 4-minute soak of my berries in a water and vinegar mixture, and you can find it online too. You can if you just look up like vinegar soak for berries, whatever, where I get like 3 days out of the blueberries till I find the first moldy one, right? The first furry ones start to show up, and I can get a week and a half out of a thing of berries because it slows down the production of mold.
Mm,
So you're extending the life of your fruits and veggies if you do a wash on those. Peaches is another one. And those my favorite guy I found out, my favorite Palisade peach dealer here, he's like my crack dealer in the summer. They're not organic and peaches tend to be on the dirty dozen. I'm like, but gotta have this peach.
right.
And so I would buy them, but then I would do the soak in the baking soda and the vinegar. And I found that peaches, which 1 minute they're hard, and the next minute you go to pick it up and it's mushy, like an avocado, same thing.
Yes.
It extends the life of the peaches, to where it keeps them firmer so I could even peel that skin off of that.
Wow.
So that's a good tip we could throw out there too. Avocados, like you mentioned, bananas and melon. Avocados are another one that they say, don't worry about spending and that's big money on organic avocados. They're ridiculously priced as it is. But because of that skin that totally gets peeled, that you don't really need to spend the money there to go organic if you don't have
And
it.
interesting too is sometimes I think, is there a difference in the flavor? And I don't know, some people might notice it. I don't think it's that noticeable that you'd have.
In those, I haven't noticed.
Yeah,
In some of the veggies you can that don't have the rinds,
right.
you can definitely tell a difference between an organic tomato, for instance,
Oh my
and
gosh.
they are always top of the list of the dirty dozen. They're terrible,
Mhm.
but you can always tell, like, a store-bought tomato from a nice organic farmer tomato. That flavor, it's completely different.
And you bring up a great point too, is that if you can get any produce from local farmers, that's amazing. That's ideal.
Yeah. Okay, away from fruits and veggies, I want to touch on one thing you had mentioned because I think people are going to say, "What is this?" And you talked about sucralose. And you talked about aspartame, and these are artificial sweeteners, which I affectionately call nothing but a chemical shitstorm. Um, right? And so, can you talk about what brands you're going to see out there that would be under sucralose that some people may not recognize, and the aspartame that they're just gonna see sugar-free and say, "Oh, I'm cut off sugar, but I'm getting sugar-free and now I'm good." And just one of the ones I wanna bring up is erythritol. The majority is made from corn. It comes from corn. If you are like me with a corn sensitivity, you're going to have an issue with erythritol. Now, you can get erythritol from birch. And you
Mm.
can actually go onto Amazon and put in erythritol from birch, but where you see erythritol or xylitol that are predominantly corn derived, you'll see those in products. So be aware if you do have a corn sensitivity that they can be pretty toxic to you as well. Even if you're trying to eat sugar free, that could be a little red flag for you.
And the worst thing about this too, as you're talking, Susan, is I feel like on one hand, I say just glance and know what you're looking for, but on the other hand, we also have to look at the fine print. And that's so frustrating because it's like you're saying, the packaging is not always accurate. And I talk about this too as I share about the greenwashing, where a company with their label or their branding will make something look like maybe it's natural and clean, but it's not entirely. And the average person isn't gonna know that. They're not if something looks like it says natural and maybe the coloring is clean and green and natural, and we don't always know. And so there is a little bit more of an investigative eye we have to unfortunately get used to using, but once you get into the habit of doing it, it definitely gets easier. And I just think when you're talking about where do we see these artificial sweeteners, anytime you see sugar free, probably 99.9% of the time, it's going to have an artificial sweetener. And one of the things that my dad was dealing with the last few years of his life was diabetes. And the last year of his life, he was in and out of the hospital. And if you have a diabetic patient, what are they giving them? Sugar free products. I used to just want
Sugar
to pull my
free.
hair out.
Yeah.
This is insane. And I'm not quite sure how to make that change and what needs to happen to make that change, and that's again, a whole other episode. More often than not, if you see something that's sugar-free, it's gonna have artificial sweetener.
Yeah, and the sucralose is Splenda. Am I right there?
Splenda, yes, yep,
And
Splenda, yep,
aspartame is your equal?
I believe so, yes,
That's your
and so
blue
I don't even
packet.
is I don't even think Sweet and Low still out there? So you have
Yes,
the
the
color of the
saccharin.
packet. You have pink, yellow, blue, just avoid. Just
Yep,
avoid those
yep, there's
colors.
the green is the stevia now. You'll see the
Yes,
green, and that's usually stevia in the raw. But yeah, the pink, the blue, the pretty colors to go
done.
away. They're they're all your artificial and it's funny because I actually went on a date Friday night, and we were at dinner, and he got an iced tea, and he knows what I do. So he's, "I guess I shouldn't have sugar. What else is there?" And he grabs a pink packet. I said, "That's saccharin. You don't want that." And
Yeah,
he goes,
no, no,
"What
no.
about the blue or the yellow?" And I said, "Oh, no, they're formaldehyde. Like, they're gonna mess with your brain." He goes, "I guess real sugar it is." And I said, "Well, in this situation, you're
Yes,
better with a half a packet of that real sugar.
yes,
That's gonna do the least amount of damage," which is sad to even have to say that because we
for
know
sure.
how damaging sugar can be. But in the realm of those other 3, yeah, that was the best choice. We just kinda laughed about it, and but that's how you have to look at things. And I think one of the other a couple of the other big ones are around what we say are the health food products. Protein
Mm,
bars, they are nothing more than candy bars, and you see so much junk and preservatives and sugar and everything in those, and I'm saying sugar here because I think we need to just say sugar is a toxin. It creates inflammation, brain, gut, body, name it. That's so I look at sugar as a toxin. But protein bars, protein powders, artificial flavors in
oh
there,
my
and they're
gosh.
marketed as healthy. And I have some clients that come to me and they're doing like 3 protein shakes a day because they're being told more protein, more protein, more protein. Make protein shakes. And they're taking in all this junk. Or these, I'm trying to get in my macros, so I'm eating a protein bar. So many of these quote health foods, the cereals marketed since we were kids, because we have to be the same age or
Mm,
pretty darn close, marketed as healthy. Raisin
yep,
Bran, it's 90% sugar.
so bad, and that was one of my favorites back in
Mine
the day.
too. The more sugar covered raisins. You took a raisin, which is sugar, coated it in sugar, and put it in sugared flakes. How
Can
much
you believe
better
we
was
ate
life?
that? Oh my gosh,
And we're still here talking about it. How did that
right?
happen? It's because we learned,
Crazy.
right? But shredded wheat, just some of these things. If you look at these cereals, even these, and this drives keto. It's a keto cereal. I look at keto, and that's some of the worst with some of these preservatives and crap in there.
the junk ingredients, but because it has a low sugar content, they market it as keto. And people think, oh, it doesn't have it's no bad carbs because carbs are bad. I want to pull my hair out.
Me too.
Okay, so food wise, read the labels. If it's got a ton of ingredients, things you can't pronounce, if there's more than 2 or 3 things other than what this thing started as naturally.
Exactly, exactly, and I think a hot tip too, going back to because I have some protein that I love, but I think one hot tip for people is most of what is store-bought is not going to be a good choice, especially when it's coming from a big box store. I'll just leave it at that.
I was just thinking that's where people go. Yep, that's where you get your big bars of gummies too, your big
Yes,
jars of gummies.
yes. And
No,
listen, hey, I'm guilty. Years ago, I that's what I would look at and I'm like, "Oh, this looks good. It's organic." Or it'll say it's a food it's a meal replacement and I'm like, "Okay, it has 100 calories." That's not a meal replacement. I'm sorry. So, yeah, you just again, back to the advertising, the labels and they're very, very tricky.
yeah, yeah. So even if you just start if this podcast helps you to start paying attention to labels, that's a plus. And aren't there apps out there where you can scan a label
There are,
and
and
that's
I
how you
have to be honest with you, I'll put it on my phone and that I never think to use it at the market. I just yeah. So there are, and I can't really speak on any of them because I don't
yeah,
use them. I just haven't gotten the habit of using them, and I probably should. It's just something I haven't done, but there are a few apps out there.
yeah. Can you think of any offhand?
I think it's one is called Zuka, I think. Let me see. I think it's called Zuka, like Zuka, I believe.
Okay, because
Um,
I can look some up too, and we can put them in the show notes
yeah,
because
definitely for sure, for people that are first starting out and wanna
Mhm.
know okay, so yes, let's see, Zuka, make healthier choices, scan any product Yuka,
That's it.
sorry,
Yucca.
Yuka,
Is it Yuka?
Yuka.
Okay, I've heard of
And
that one.
it's just you know what it is? It's just me not getting the habit of going in the
Yeah.
store and using it. I just because I've been doing this for so many
That's what I
years
was just gonna say. I think you and I have been doing this. I personally don't need I am a label scanner. You're a label scanner. We
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
need that tool, but I was thinking as far as newbies saying,
yes.
we can't go through every ingredient on this podcast because
Right. There's no way.
we have lives. We
Right.
have lives we have to get
No
to at
way.
some point today. Otherwise, we would sit here and go through the clean 15 and dirty dozen of ingredients.
Right.
It would take a lot of time, and we probably couldn't even pronounce half of them. But I think for new people, it's a wonderful resource I've heard people talk about, and it will help you get to the point where you and I are, where I can go up, pick up a label. Half of them, and I think they do it on purpose, the type is so small that they
Yes.
want you to not see what's in there, and so I have to take my readers to the store and pull out ingredient, the readers go on because I've stood there with a product holding it way out here, and I still can't see it because it's
I
that small.
so frustrating.
So
I did
food
that
is
the other
bad
day.
enough.
I was looking at laundry detergent, and I was trying to decide between a certain because I've kinda, like, been experimenting a little bit with that, and I had 2 I was looking at, and so I, like, looked them up, I did a whole little comparison on my phone, research, and I'm like, people are probably going, "What is she doing?" But hey, I had the time, and I'm like, I really wanna
I
kinda
did.
know pros, cons, which one might be better, and, they both turned out to be pretty equal, but it's so true. There's so many times where I same thing where I look and the label and the print is or it's really light, so you're like, "Well,
Yeah,
I can't even read it."
yeah,
So
it's like a
frustrating.
light yellow on white, and you're going,
Yeah,
"I think you did this to so that we specifically couldn't see what's on here."
exactly.
But if you're like you and I do the same thing as you. I sit in a store, I'm pulling at things up. If I
Yep,
can't see it, then I go online and I put such and such ingredients. I
yes,
wanna see before I put it in my mouth.
yep,
This is the one vessel that we're given to be here and
100%.
to become mindful of what you're putting in it and on it, and I will tell you that cosmetic products, whether it's shampoo, moisturizer, mascara, it doesn't matter. Those are the smallest print worse than the food.
Yeah,
Minutia. You need 2 sets of reading glasses to read these because there's so much I think they're hiding so much crap.
Yep.
and you can find some good stuff. Do you have any brands that you know of that tend to be a little bit on the better side, whether it's cleaning products, laundry, like you said, cosmetics, just what are some of your favorites? Like some of your favorite go-tos?
Yes. So I can say as far as skincare, one of my favorites is called Primally Pure,
Okay.
and they have all non-toxic. Now again, they can be a little bit on the pricier side. However, what I end up doing is when they have a sale, which they just did, that's when I will get my product. And for women, we know we can find a cream and it could last for a really long time. And I have one of their creams that I really, really, and it lasts for a really long time. And I've discovered that. I have a couple other that I'm trying right now. And I find that, and I was just talking about this on my podcast the other day, that you can find certain products that you like skincare wise from different companies. I have a toner, a spray toner that I love from a company called Body Deli, and they do all very fresh ingredients in their products. And
Okay.
so I get that from them. And like I said, I'm still experimenting a little bit, and I do use a product from the wellness company that I have been partnered with, and I don't know, to be honest with you, if it's completely non-toxic, and I'm still looking at that, but I really do seek out non-toxic, especially when it comes to the skincare. I'm still working on the makeup. I know Crunchy is a brand that has skincare and makeup, and again, a little bit pricier, but if you can find when they're having a sale and then stock up on what you like, I find
Mhm.
that that's really beneficial. And Primarily Pure also has deodorant, certain things like that you can find. But again, it's just I find it's fun trying and seeing what you like and what you don't like, and then kind of
Mhm.
sticking with your favorites.
Yeah.
I tried a few months ago. You've probably tried Branch Basics cleaning products, and I like them. I'm just trying some other ones as well, but they are non-toxic. I really like, again, my favorite product from them is for the dishwasher. They have little dishwasher pellets that I really like, and it's just an ongoing thing. It's fun because 'cause you're trying stuff as you go along, but it takes a little time to discover what you like, and there are more options now. That's what I love.
There is. There absolutely is more options. Thank God.
Yeah, and when I years
Really.
ago had ordered that protein shake for my son, back then, there weren't as many options, and I used that company just for their cleaning products for many years until I went, I'm not really sure these are really that clean. Although again, they claim them to be, and they're probably low in toxins than a lot of other companies, but don't say something's non-toxic when it actually isn't. Don't tell me your protein powder is non-toxic when it has sucralose. So that's where I get a little fiery. I'm like, "You know what? Let's be honest. We can be transparent. Maybe it's not completely non-toxic. Oh, I'm good with that, but just be transparent and honest with what it is. If it's low in toxin exposure, cool. But let's be honest."
Yeah, like they came out with finding out now about all the plant-based protein powders that are polluted with heavy metals.
Yep.
Again, I don't use any of them, and again, I don't I a lot of my clients don't, some of them do, but you really have to do the investigative work. When you find something out like this, change it over. Make sure you change away from that. Again, it's just awareness. Just create that awareness. You're not going to be able to do everything, but
Mhm.
you're gonna be better off using your like you had recommended Branch Basics laundry as opposed to Tide scented. And I will tell you, when you look at genetics, I have a whole detox panel.
Mhm.
It's my toxicants and inflammation panel. So we look at propensities because DNA is probabilities and propensities, people, not absolutes. We look at things like glutathione, which is our master antioxidant, huge for detoxification, anti-inflammatory. The
Mhm.
majority of people I see are likely reduced capacity or capacity to maintain good levels. Then you'll see SNPs like high inflammation SNPs, IL-6, TNF alpha. I've talked about that on here. And the toxin, like exposures to things, can really increase those. And they're genes that you wanted to, all these are things that you want to dial that back. But some people have some compromised detox systems, and other people have really good. And what I will tell you, I'm one of those that my detox systems are working well, but I still have environmental sensitivities that
Mm,
stem from some genetics, but also having Lyme disease and
mm.
having had gadolinium poisoning, MTHFR variants, so it can make things a lot harder. And when when you sit next to me and you're wearing a bucket of perfume or cologne, and my head starts to feel like it wants to explode. My friend is the same way, and we go to church together every week. She's the same size as me with it. We got there, parents, this guy came in. We're in the second row. He comes into the front row and sits down. This is right in the as the beginning of the sermon. And she looked at me, and I saw her head the way she looked at me, and I looked at her, and we at the same time said, "We gotta move." It was that powerful that we had to go and to another section because we're both reacting so much. And I think people, be mindful. You don't have to bathe in stuff. Same with plugins. I went to a meeting last week
Ugh,
and I love this woman so much. My first time at her home. Beautiful home. But there was some holiday scented something. And I don't know if it was a plugin or what it was, but I had a 2-hour meeting there. I had to bow out. I was feeling my eyes swelling up. I couldn't breathe. I was so stuffy and the headache. And it started pretty quickly because I looked at my one friend and I said, "That this scent thing is gonna wreck me." And I got
right?
home and I opened up my arms with hives. I was itching so badly. And it
Wow.
shoulder. I haven't had the shoulder thing in a while, and now I have all these red bumps. I had all these red bumps over my shoulders. But that's how much some of us can be affected. Other people might just be like my friend didn't break out in anything, but she was still very affected. And the fabric softeners, another one. Anything you have with these all these scented the artificial scented things, they're all toxic chemicals. Do essential oils, they're better, right? If you do an essential oil, you're not gonna have those toxic chemicals. So you can still get some sense in there if you get like a little diffuser of that. Would that be a better
Yeah.
option, you think?
Yeah, I think so. I never really got into using them as like a oil, like, for fragrance. I have found, again, same thing, I have found a couple lotions that I really like, and one is very, very clean, and I tend to use that. And then I do have a cologne that I love. She's very transparent with the ingredients, and it's really it's the cleanest that I have discovered. There could be something cleaner, but it's just I discovered her about 3 years ago, and I don't use anything different, and her clone is called Kayla Gray. I can give you the link. I actually have a discount link to that particular one.
Okay. And
Yeah.
what's the lotion? What's the lotion you like?
There's one particular lotion, and I'm gonna mess it up. I think it's a Lux lotion. I actually, believe it or not, I find it at Whole Foods, and it has literally maybe 5 ingredients, and again, same thing. When it's on sale, I snag it. 'Cause I discovered it, like, 2 or 3 years ago, and you can use it on your face, you can use it on your body, it's really light, and it has very, very simple ingredients, and I love it, and
Yeah, we'll make sure all these if you give me these links, we'll make sure they're in the show notes so people
yeah. I'll
can
have to
take a
give you
look.
the name of that lotion. It's in my I see it, but I can't I think it's I'll have to look again.
It's so funny, the stuff we use every day. My shower soap, it's a cream soap. I don't know what the heck it is, but it has no scent. It barely doesn't foam up or anything, but that's what we're looking for. But we get these things that are all sudsy. Our shampoos have to smell good, and when it smells that good, it's got all that and it suds all up. You got chemicals, and they're going on our largest organ, the
Right.
skin. Someone gave me a horrible haircut that I'm in month 3 of growing it out. But she did turn me on to a shampoo and conditioner called Inner Sense because she was really big
I've
into
seen
the
that.
toxins, and she said, "That's one of the better ones," and so I'm using it, and I will tell you, I might
It looks
look like
great.
I have crazy hair and a Brillo pad, but it's actually super soft. So,
And
when
my
you get
yeah.
curls like this and they're soft, that's saying something, and so I really like their shampoo and conditioner. I've been pretty happy with. And like she said, "There's not the toxins." And I told her a different one I used, and she said, "Well, that's got toxins in it." So I was like, "Okay."
Well, that's the thing too, right? I have a shampoo that I love, and my hairdresser said it's organic, and I'm thinking, "Mm, I'm not so sure." And I'm bummed because I really, really like it. So,
Yeah.
one product I haven't really been sold on and found what I really like, so I'm gonna have to try the inner sense.
And
I've
I
seen it.
and again, I think if you pick one thing that you're like, it's better than the typical. It does take some non-toxic things into account. It's not the worst of the worst. So you don't have to give up everything, but that's one place where you could say, maybe I'll lax off a little bit here, but maybe around food, I'm going to start looking at labels. I'm going to eat more organic. I'm going to get fresh, pastured meats, things like that. I'm going to spend that
Mhm.
little extra there. And then my body's not going to have the toxin overload, that bucket, just like histamine, right? We have the histamine
Right.
bucket. We don't break down enough. I'm itching, right? We react. The same thing with the detox. When we have those toxins, more and more and more, but if we can reduce that load, and then we have just that little bit and maybe that pleasure of that soap that smells good, and it's cleaner than going and getting Bath and Body Works. I don't even wanna walk by that place because I get a headache walking by
Oh my gosh,
walking
and I used
it's
to go.
so did I.
I can't believe all the years I used to shop there. I just go, "Oh my gosh,
I
what was
know.
I thinking?" Right?
We
You
didn't
know
know.
better, you do better.
Right, we didn't know. Now we know. This is it. This is the information's out there. Make your choices. Because even if you have the genetics where you're more sensitive, multi-chemical sensitivity or MCS, and that's around several different genes there that can indicate a propensity for around higher risks for the multi-chemical sensitivity, which means you're going to be more sensitive to envirotoxins. If you are, even if you're not aware of it, you may not feel like, "Am I supposed to have some type of a reaction here?" But you're creating inflammation in the body because the
Right.
body is trying to get rid of something. And if you have a lesser ability to do it and that's expressing, then you just may have things happening on the inside and then it expresses later because you just keep overloading and overloading. So you want to keep, say you're out, "Oh, I don't care. I'm going to go for my daily runs with this forest fire going." Right? And all the smoke, been out, I've hiked in it, and then you come back and you're like,
Right.
"Ugh, I've CrossFitted in it." My body, like, our bodies, we're gonna create inflammation, we're gonna create issues with that. Now, that's a limited time there, but other things, you just keep on pushing it, it's gonna end up overloading at some point, and then then you're back at that behind the 8 ball, and now I have to do something to deal with what's actually happening because now maybe it's creating some chronic illness within me. You're
And
thinking it's just a gene, and it's not.
such a great point that you're making too, because again, it goes back to how we started the conversation. We can't control everything. And I often think too, I have a very sensitive nose, and my husband is just, what? You smell what? I don't smell anything. I'm like, it's there, believe me. But to your point too, like last week, we had a trip to Vegas for a couple days. And when you're in that environment and the smoke, it's 2 days in, it's like we were only there for a couple days, 48 hours, and by the time that you can only handle so much, at least as far as I'm concerned, in Vegas.
I was thinking
Um,
the same thing.
but when it comes to that smoke, it's I can't take it. Like, I think same thing, I think I might have my dad used to be allergic to it. I think I might have a little bit of that, but it's also that sensitivity because 'cause we're not used to it. Same thing with the smells and the chemicals. We're we're fairly clean what we're used to, so when we smell that stuff, I was having a flashback when you were talking about one of the hotels we used to stay in when we'd go watch my son play baseball at the college, and this was right after COVID, right after the country shut down, and they were cleaning everything. You'd walk into the hotel, and they were so I don't know what they were spraying on the windows or the drapes, and it would just be this chemical poop storm, if you will. And I almost was like, I can't be in here. This and it was in the lobby, and it was so strong. And the stuff that they used and they used, I don't know if they still do, but sometimes it's just way too much.
Yeah, and it's funny when I onboard someone onto my PH360 platform, one of the questions it asks is, "Are you regularly exposed to chemical toxins, cleaning products, hygiene products. So my hair people are going to check that. Anybody who is around cleaning, medical, my fire people. I think even if when I was back a cop, I probably would have checked it because Lord knows I would come into some crazy toxic stuff. But it takes that into account when it's recommending foods. Because
Mm.
if you're exposed to that, you need more antioxidant foods. You're going to need more of these nutrient dense foods to help build your system, your immune system, your detox system. So it picks up on all of that. And because people, why does that matter? Because this is a big part of your body and likely why you're out of balance. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, because I did have a guy who was exposed every day to toxic things, and he never really thought much about it. He was in construction. So it was
Mm,
all those compounds on the road stuff, those chemical compounds, and he said, I know I'm exposed to it, but I didn't realize it would have that much of an impact." And through his DNA, his system his detox system definitely needed some dialing up through nutrition, lifestyle, sleep habits, like all these things people don't realize. So we can tell you here to read labels, do less toxic products, start being more aware, but it all comes down to lifestyle. It's also going to come down
yes.
to how are you sleeping? When are you sleeping?
Mhm.
Are you
100%.
hydrating? Are you eating crap? Like, we're trying to help you change the crap you're eating. When are you eating? Are you snacking up until bedtime and then going to bed and wondering why you're pre-diabetic? Are you exercising? Are you moving your butt? Or are you coming home and sitting and having a glass of wine on the couch to unwind for the day and then having a crappy night of sleep because that's going to take away your run? Like, these are the
Right?
things that
Right.
I look at. And so you can control your toxins, but everything comes down to, when it comes to your health, the day-to-day decisions that you make, and this
Yes.
is part of them. When you go to the grocery store, these are decisions you're making. When you're on Amazon looking for a product, when you're in Costco and you're sampling those foods, take a look at the label of the bag that they have there that you're
Yep.
sampling from, and your
Yep.
jaw will drop.
Totally. So true. So true. But
So,
it is, it's the everyday habits and you're speaking my language, the everyday habits and the longevity. I'm I coach on that too, and it's the it's all connected.
it's
All
all
connected.
connected. 100%. Is there anything else? So, if someone you said you coach people on how to work with toxin exposures and everything. So, if somebody wants to work with you, we'll have all everything in the show notes too. But tell people in case they're just listening, how can they find you to reach out to you?
I think the best place right now is on Instagram. I'm at Wellness with Shelly J. I also have an account at Moms Who Flourish. I have been building a community for moms. It's all about empowering moms to put their health, their wellness, their self care as a priority. And we've done some in person events, and I have a mentorship starting in January that will be all centered around that. It'll be centered around wellness, longevity, and then alongside the motherhood journey, and so that's gonna be starting in January. And then I am opening up a couple slots if anybody wants to work one-on-one when it comes to their overall wellness and their longevity. I'll be opening up spots for that as well. So I think the best place is to just reach out to me on Instagram. This is a like yourself, this is an area that we're really passionate about, and the whole goal is to impact the lives of others and help others feel and look their best when it comes to this journey of our health, our life, our longevity. So many things we can do now, and I think that again, when we know better, we can do better. And also, going back to the gentleman you were talking about in construction, so much of the time we just chalk it up to what we do. Oh, this is how it is. Oh, I'm just getting older. No, 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 no. Like I
Nope.
I had a very big light bulb moment when I discovered the nutrition that I've been using now for over 11 years, when I felt better within 3 days, and I went, "Wait, but I went into this feeling healthy and energetic and good. I had no idea that I could even feel better."
Bit
So, I
better.
think about that so often because here I'm coming from a background in all of this and feeling like I feel pretty good. And then, oh my gosh, I actually can feel better. And I
Yeah.
think the average person, I think, oh my gosh, how much better can they feel? They're accepting how they are. They don't know any different. But when you do know different, it's, oh,
It is. The heavens open.
the heavens
Hence my name,
open.
Healthy Awakening. And people say healthy
100%.
awakenings, and I go, no, you get one awakening. No S on the end. It's one big awakening. But I also say, you don't know how good you can feel until you do.
Until you
Right?
do.
And I was a coach for, like I said, for 4 years before I got into genetics, and when I found DNA first. When I found that, it was I'm a high performance person. I think anybody figured that out already. But I wanted to feel better because feeling good for me isn't good enough. And I didn't want it to be good enough for my clients. How do you feel when someone says, "I feel good"? Okay, that's not enough. You
Mm-mm.
should feel fantastic. And I don't
Mhm.
care how old you are, because I have an 82-year-old client. I have a client in her 70s. I have clients in their 60s. My guy that was on my podcast a couple weeks ago, he came from alcoholism. He's down now 71 pounds. It's never too late, and it's never too early.
Right.
Educate your kids on this. I've gone on rants about prediabetes. 1 in 3 kids is but 1 in 3 teens is pre-diabetic. And my big thing is y they're not born wanting to eat crap.
Mm-mm.
We show them, the parents. So you have to take that responsibility and teach your children how to eat well, because we're seeing so much chronic disease in young kids now. Between the stress, they're living lives of adults as
Right.
children. So they're creating the stress, and then you're creating stress with the junk food. So kudos to you for, when your child was 5 years old, looking at that and saying, "Sorry, I know you love this shake, but go to the trash." And he probably was like, "What? I love this shake." "Yeah, because it's got crap in it, so it's gonna taste really good," right?
Can I
But
tell you something?
yeah.
You're not gonna believe this, although you probably will. I look and I peek every once in a while, and do you know that they still have sucralose in that shake?
Are you kidding me? After all the information out there about it, because it's cheap. It's cheap.
And
Again, it
again,
comes down to the
it's
bottom line, not the person.
wellness store, and I'm like, "Oh." And I just bite my tongue. I don't wanna I don't wanna start arguing with people online about it, but I'm like,
I I know.
I do make general statements. I will generally say, if something says it has sucralose, it is
Mhm.
non-toxic. Just run from it.
Yeah, and all we're trying to do is help people when we go
Yeah.
and make a comment. And I have had people go onto my profile, and I thought, "What do you do? Do you not have a life?" They disagreed with a comment, and then they come back at me and say, "Oh, a holistic practitioner? Why don't you go grift some money off people some more?" And I sit
Oh
here going, "I
god.
actually save lives." So, little note to you, I actually save some lives by changing lifestyle, but they will personally attack you. And that's how bad it is out there now. When you see someone, I posted something today, or I didn't do the post, somebody else posted, and I can't, it might have been in our MTHFR group, an MTHFR group, I can't remember. But somebody posted, "Carnivore is the way to go for everybody." And I said, "It's not for everybody, and I've been doing this a long time, and for some people, it's actually quite detrimental." Because they were talking about it for insulin resistance, and I said, "It actually can really dial up." There's genes where high saturated fat dials up this gene's propensity for insulin resistance, and I've seen this in so many of my clients, particularly the bigger ones. That's where, and these are the ones typically told to go carnivore because they're so prone to insulin issues, and we turn them around by going really high veggie. It's amazing. And I saw they're laughing at my comments. And I said, "We can't even have a civilized conversation to where you have
Conversation.
to laugh at somebody because you're so into the influencer comments that you can't see outside of that to look and say, wow, we are all so individual. Maybe this can happen with people. And do you actually know about genetics?" Some of these influencers don't talk about that. And
Mm.
I don't care what your research is. I see it. I've been seeing it in the clinical for 6.5 years. And like I told you, I coached paleo for my first 4 years. And I'm so sorry to my guardians and diplomats that it wasn't right. You don't know. We're all learning. We're all trying to do our best.
That's
And I
it.
think where you and I come in is we've lived it. We've
Mhm.
made the mistakes. We're still making mistakes, but we're trying to help you not make the mistakes that we made, and
For sure.
to start opening up your mind and saying, "Wow, this this could make a difference for me."
And here's the bottom line too. It's never gonna be perfect. We are not perfect. The scenario is never gonna be perfect. And I also wanna tell people, your listeners included, you still have to enjoy your life. Like, this is not meant to be, "Oh my gosh, this is gonna be just we're gonna just live on what, carrots and celery, and I can't put anything on my body." This is not, like, depressing. It's just, again, enlightening is what it should be, empowering like you used earlier. It we have to enjoy our lives, and to be honest with you, we like to go out to dinner once, usually on the weekend. We're gonna go enjoy it. I'm not gonna worry so much. Yeah, we're gonna order something a little bit on the healthier side, but am I gonna ask for ingredient list? No. Should I? Should I? Maybe. No, but I'm not going to do that. It goes
Right.
back to the
Yeah.
toxic-free toilet paper.
Now, I think if you have allergies, like I have food allergies or
Oh,
sensitive,
yes,
then
yes,
absolutely. But
yes.
if you don't and you're just trying to be more cautious, then like you said, go ahead and enjoy yourself because
Gotta
you have the
enjoy yourself.
tools to get right back. Where
And it's just gonna
that little bit's not gonna affect you.
no, and it's gonna create more go back to what we were talking about, it's gonna create more stress than it's worth. That I'm always the proponent. I'm not I will not encourage being, like, rigid and restricted and all of this, but I am going to encourage the education and the awareness and make healthy choices most of the time. And yeah, do I like to have a glass of wine? Yes. Did I discover a pesticide chemical free wine? I did. And I was like ecstatic about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, no way. Sign me up. So, point being, enjoy yourself within reason.
Yeah.
And I always like to say, I don't know, 80, maybe 85% of the time, make the healthiest choices that you can make. And then it's not
Yeah.
going to be perfect.
Yeah. No, even and I say even as a coach, I'm not perfect. I don't follow my PH360 profile 100%, but
Mm,
I'm probably close to 90-95% just because of all I've had to deal with, and it will affect my body. So I choose to be how I am, but we're all individual and we're all
for sure.
adults and you have choice,
Yep.
but err err on the better side if you want that quality of life as you get older because aging doesn't mean falling apart. It can
Yeah.
absolutely mean that we can still get better. And that's my goal is to show that you can keep getting better. And I'm in my new decade hit 60 in October and I don't plan on slowing down. And
You
that's
look
what
amazing.
I'm
I'm
doing.
right
Thank
behind
you.
you. And oh my gosh, I just did a video working out in Vegas, and that was my point. Age is just a number.
It is
Like,
a number. Yep.
keep it going. Keep
Yep.
it going. I
It's up
mean,
here because that
mhm,
was one of my I've done rants on the run where I'm like, "This" all right, here's one that really gets my goat, and one of them was, things have to fall apart as we age, and it's just not true. We don't wake up I don't wake up with sore joints or anything like that, and I do CrossFit, I hike, I train hard. I don't wake up with that because
yeah,
of the choices I make on a day-to-day basis, and that's how we look at it, and have I dialed back? Do I breathe fire like I used to? No. So we adjust as we get older, but it doesn't mean slowing down. It may mean I'm doing something a little bit differently. I don't have to do the heaviest weights. I don't have to be the fastest, but I can still keep upping my performance to make sure that I'm not going to stop getting benefits and the
for
bone density and all of those things pay off. Every one step, even if you take one step, like we said, you take one step, it's going to pay dividends to you, and it'll probably pay dividends to the people around you just from the ripple effect.
for sure. Yes. Amen.
Yep. So, anything else you wanted to add before we shut her down? We you said a half an hour. We're like an hour. We're over an hour in. I told you.
And I think I'm, like, looking at it for the clock for you because I think you probably have to hop off, right?
Pretty much. I totally forgot. This is what happens. I say I get in these podcasts. I'm like Robin Williams. He would go on to talk shows. He'd be all over the place, and that's how I get. But I get excited because I love doing this. I love bringing information out. I love someone who's got great energy. So, yeah, I will just get where I'm going a little bit later. It's just the
Yeah.
way it is, and that's okay.
No, this
See,
has been
I
great.
sacrifice for you, listeners.
This has been great, and I think too that the only other thing is giving some ideas, like helping people to detox a little bit, sweat, exercise. I have a cellular component that I use that has helped me tremendously. I know you have things that you have, protocols that you have put in place, saunas, like certain things can
Mm,
help reduce
move
some of what
stuff. Yeah.
in our systems. And so I think it's reducing what we're being exposed to and then taking steps to try and reduce what is actually in our bodies because they are everywhere. And when I learned that babies, newborn umbilical cord blood has chemicals in it and toxins, we need to make some different changes here, right?
Yeah.
It's just as much as we might think we're not being exposed. And I know that I do come across people who go, "Oh, your body can do it on its own." And I will say there was a time it could, but now we can't. We are exposed to so much
There's so
that
many.
we're just being bombarded. So we have to
Agree.
take extra steps to help our bodies along. Yes, our bodies are miracles, 100%. But unfortunately, products, society, the air, the environment, all the things we've been exposed to for all of these years takes its toll. And it's
Absolutely.
just the way it is.
You said exercise, move.
Move
It
your body.
helps to movement, water, good, clean water.
Yes.
There's two things, and the sauna that, like you said as well, lymphatic drain massage if you feel like you clog. So many things you can do.
Mhm.
Just move. Get off your butts.
Yep.
Get moving. Why, if you go 10 minutes to 10 minutes after each meal, and say you're doing 3 meals, 10 minutes after each, you can break it up. I have podcasts coming up on it, and it still will have a benefit for you. So there's really no excuse because we can fit that time in our day somewhere to
For
do that.
sure.
And that
For
will
sure.
help with your detox systems. That's a big part of all. When I do a DNA review, I'm like, water, stress management, sleep, movement, antioxidant diet,
Mm,
like foods high in antioxidants,
yes. And
and that
that's
helps
the
it
whole
helps it go.
longevity protocol too,
Yeah.
for sure. It
So good point bringing that up.
all
So
connects.
again, we're gonna have Shelly, and it's Shelly, not EY. We'll have all her contact information, some of her products in the show notes. And if you want to reach out to her, you can reach out to her. And I'm just so grateful that you joined me for this conversation and for people to have less anxiety and know that they don't have to be perfect. Just take a step.
Yes, 100%. Thank you so much for having me on. This has just been wonderful.
I'm so thankful. And yeah, look out, people, because I'm coming on hers. So you're gonna just gonna be like, oh my God, have you two
Can't wait.
again?
Can't wait.
But it's gonna be awesome.
It's
So
gonna be
thank you.
amazing.
Share this podcast because we're all exposed to so much out there. And subscribe to my podcast. You can go to my Facebook chat page where no one chats. That's my big claim to fame. Nobody chats on the Everyday Epigenetics Raw Real Relatable chat. But if you'd like to come in and actually start a chat, I love suggestions and feedback. Come and join us on there. Reach out to me anytime. Have a great day and get out there and be your most authentic self. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning into my podcast. If you enjoyed this week's episode, I'd love for you to share it with someone who'd find the information useful. Please leave a review anywhere you listen to podcasts, and it'll help the information get out to others. If you're interested in seeing if we're a great fit to work together, the link is in the show notes below where you can sign up for a free consultation with me. So go make it a great day and let your authentic self shine.